How to crush it in cold calling in your wholesale real estate business. What's up YouTube, Biz Matthew here. Welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I'm going to talk about how to crush it in cold calling, how to be a better cold caller, especially if you're a beginner or you're just starting out in real estate investing. You have to learn how to talk to sellers over the phone. And I know a lot of beginners, they're a little bit afraid, a little bit nervous, unprepared on what to do when they are cold calling. So in today's video, I'm just going to break down different ways, different tactics and strategies that you can implement into your business to make the cold calling experience more successful. All right, you all, let me know down below how your wholesale real estate business is doing. I would love to know what marketing strategy you're doing, what type of videos you want to see more on this channel, and other things like that. All right, so how to crush it in cold calling. So number one, I need to talk about the mentality. So mentality is key when you're wholesaling real estate. And what comes with mentality, and one of the biggest mistakes I see with beginner wholesalers when they're starting cold calling, are expectations. Because expectations can ruin your hope and your dreams when you're wholesaling, when you're just starting out, whether it's expectations dealing with how many deals you're going to get, or expectations on how a cash buyer is going to perform on a deal, or how a seller will talk to you, and other things like that. So it's key to understand expectations, specifically when you're cold calling. So one of the two biggest expectations that I see a lot of beginner wholesalers go wrong is, number one, they believe they're going to get a deal from cold calling in 30 days or less. That is not the case. Yes, if you hire two people out the gate and they're both calling 8 hours a day, yes, that's a possibility. But how about most beginners who don't have a budget to pay a cold caller, or don't have any softwares or anything like that that has to manually dial every single cold call lead? They most likely won't get that first deal that fast. There is that possibility. It has happened to people, but it's good to have realistic expectations. Another big expectation that I see a lot of wholesalers go wrong is that they don't understand that this is a numbers game. So let's say you get a list of about 100 people. Out of that 100 people, maybe 20 people will actually answer the phone call, 20 to 30 people. And a lot of beginners don't understand that. They're cold calling and they notice 5 minutes pass by, 10 minutes pass by, and they haven't heard from anyone. And they're ready to quit cold calling and wholesaling altogether. It's only been 5 minutes. Slow down. And I think it's key to be realistic about those different performance indicators, because let's say 20 people answer, around 15 of them will say flat out no, or not even hear you, or just hang up straight on you. The last 5 is for people who say maybe, yes, or something like to that nature. So most people will not answer the phone. And on top of that, most people who do answer the phone will say no. I know when I first started, I had the impression that, hey, I'm going to start cold calling, I'm going to start calling people. Even though I was nervous and afraid to cold call a random person, to talk to a random person, I still had high expectations, right? And I think it's good to have hopes and goals and say, hey, I'm going to get a deal, I'm going to do this and that, but you have to be realistic. To help with those expectations is just to be more realistic with your expectations. Know that, hey, most people are not going to answer, most people are going to say no. I come to my cold calling knowing this, and so I'm more prepared for all the rejections. I'm more prepared for people who don't answer the phone, so my emotions don't swing super high or super low during the cold calling process. The other thing with mentality is remaining calm. So when you're cold calling someone, it's key to have peace and remain calm. So whatever you have to do to remain calm. I was listening to an interview with someone who is like a master cold caller, and what he does when he cold calls is that he plays video games. And I think that's really interesting, because I think he uses video games to help calm him down, that when someone curses him out, he's just playing his video game and it's all like, okay, well, thank you for your time, and then moves on to the next one. It doesn't have to be as intense or distracting like a video game. Maybe it's just, hey, I'm going to meditate before cold calling, and I'm just going to calmly relax. I'm going to have my favorite drink by me. I'm going to have some low playing music in the background, or something like that to that nature, just to make sure you're calm, you're collective. That energy flows into the caller. The caller knows when you're antsy or you're a little nervous or jittery on the phone. So remaining calm and peaceful is key. And it's always hard to tell people to remain calm, because as humans do the opposite when people say that. Just learn your different ways on how you usually deal with different things in a healthy manner, right? You don't want to be doing bad things to make you calm, right? But chill things. So the next way to crush it in cold calling is to be prepared. So how do you be prepared in cold calling? So the number one thing I would say is make sure you have a script together. Now, you don't have to follow this script to a T, right? You have to understand the personality type you're dealing with. You kind of go with the flow where the conversation is going. But there are some key things that you have to hit during your cold call with the potential seller. Shout out to TTP Brent Daniels. He talks about the 4 pillars of motivation. Why are you looking to sell? The condition of the property, timeline to sell, and their price. You have to get to know those 4 informations in order to see, okay, is this person motivated? Is this person not motivated? Maybe I can just follow up with them in 6 months to a year. Oh, this person is super motivated. I need to keep on following up with them on the daily. The other way to come prepared to your cold calling experience is to, when you're beginning to cold call, is to have a notepad by you and write down common questions that you receive from your sellers. Not only common questions, but common objections or rejections that you usually get from them when you want to submit an offer, or you want to get to know, hey, why are you looking to sell, but they don't tell you. Write those common questions down so you can refer to it later, and then you can do your research on how to answer these questions based off of your experience, based off of what you heard from your mentor, or just educating yourself on how to answer specific questions. And you can come back to it when you're cold calling. You have that notepad, you have the information. Now you know how to answer all rebuttals and objections and all different types of questions that you probably didn't know, or maybe how to respond to an angry seller and different things like that. So come prepared in that way. And that's just a learning process. You're probably still going to come across questions that you don't know the answer to, or come across situations where you don't know how to respond to a specific personality type and other things like that. So be prepared. The next thing I want to talk about on how to crush it in cold calling is to make sure you're organized. If you don't have a lot of upfront capital, I know what I did. I just used Google Sheets. So I had a spreadsheet, and in different tabs, I had the motivation level of my leads. And so whether you want to put a tab for hot leads, another tab for medium, another for mild or cold leads, or other things like that, I know I had it by like time frame, like, okay, daily. These are my daily leads that I need to follow up every single day. These are hot leads. I had another tab for weekly leads or bi-weekly leads, like, hey, okay, every week, every 2 weeks, this person is moderately motivated. That's how often I'm going to follow up with them. The other tab I had was, okay, every 6 months, every year. And then like all other leads, I didn't save at all, right? If they're cold leads, if they cuss me out or anything like that, moved on to the next lead. And so you have to make sure you're organized in that way. So just so you can keep track, know when to follow up with people, I would put reminders on my phone for different people, especially those longer leads where I know I wasn't calling every single day. So I needed more of a reminder for those type of leads. Make sure you do that in order for you to be more prepared in order to get your first deal. The other thing with being prepared is to look at the different softwares, process systems out there that you can use if you do have some money. Like for example, a phone dialer. Phone dialer, you just input a bunch of information, like a bulk of names and phone numbers, and it calls for you, so you don't have to manually dial every single phone number. And usually with those type of softwares, they have a built-in lead manager system for you, so you can manage the different type of sellers that you're working with. You can put them in buckets, put them in different folders. I use Phone Burner. If y'all are interested, you can check the link down below. Find ways to stay organized when you're cold calling. All right, you all, I hope you all enjoyed this video on how to crush it with cold calling in wholesale real estate. Let me know down below if I'm missing something. What have you noticed worked for you in your cold calling journey in wholesale real estate? All right, you all, hope you all enjoyed this video. I'll talk to you all later.